England's churches are not only known for their breathtaking beauty, but for the ghostly spirits that seem to haunt them. If you're brave enough, step inside these sacred yet eerie places where the spirits of the past still linger, leaving chilling encounters for the unsuspecting visitor. 1 St. Bartholomew's Church, Wednesbury, West Midlands. St. Bartholomew's Church is infamous for its ghostly monk, believed to have been murdered within the church centuries ago. His figure is often spotted drifting down the aisle in silence, vanishing as soon as it's noticed. Some have reported a feeling of being watched, with cold spots appearing in the air around them. Many claim to hear the sound of footsteps following them in the church, only to turn around and find the aisles completely empty. The churchyard itself seems alive with whispers, and on certain nights, flickering lights are seen among the gravestones. It's said that the monk still wanders, searching for justice or perhaps his lost life. 2 St. Nicholas's Cathedral, Newcastle. St. Nicholas's Cathedral is home to the ghost of a young Victorian woman who tragically passed away within its walls. Her apparition is most commonly seen near the altar, her face obscured by a veil. Those who encounter her describe an unsettling drop in temperature, and some hear the faint sound of an organ playing, even when the organ is not in use. The feeling of being watched is intense, and the distant ringing of bells, despite the bell tower being empty, adds to the eerie atmosphere. Some say they hear her whispering softly, though her words are indecipherable. The presence of the young spirit leaves visitors with an overwhelming sense of sadness and mystery. 3 St. Mary's Church, Huntingdon, Cambridgeshire. The Grey Lady haunts St. Mary's Church, and she is often seen near the altar. Legend has it that she was a parishioner who died under mysterious circumstances. People who have come into contact with her spirit report hearing strange whispers in the air, as though the lady is trying to communicate with them. Others have felt the eerie sensation of being followed, only to turn and find the church aisles completely deserted. Some visitors describe hearing faint prayers in an ancient tongue, further deepening the sense of the supernatural. Her spirit seems to linger in the church, unable or unwilling to move on. 4 St. Michael's Church, St. Albans. This church is home to the ghost of a monk who was allegedly murdered within the church many years ago. His specter is most often seen gliding silently through the nave in a brown habit, his presence accompanied by an overwhelming sense of dread. Visitors have reported strange phenomena such as the sounds of chanting or footsteps echoing in the empty church, and the sudden temperature drop near the altar is notorious. The church's crypt is a hotspot for paranormal activity. Those who venture into it often feel a strange pressure, as if something unseen is lurking just beyond their reach. 5 St. John's College Chapel, Oxford. The haunting of St. John's College Chapel is tied to the tragic death of a student. His ghost has been seen near the altar, often staring off into the distance as though lost in thought. Witnesses say the air grows unnaturally cold when his apparition appears. Some have heard the distant sound of organ music, despite the organ being in disrepair. The chapel, steeped in history, seems to attract unexplained phenomena. Soft footsteps are often heard echoing through the empty space, as though someone is walking behind you. The student spirit seems to be endlessly wandering, trapped within the confines of the chapel. 6 St. James's Church, Piccadilly, London. This church is said to be haunted by a young girl in a tattered white gown. Her ghostly figure has been seen near the altar, and her mournful cries can be heard in the stillness of the church. Visitors often describe a heavy atmosphere, as though they are being observed by a presence they cannot see. The air around her is chilling, and some have reported hearing faint whispers, as though she's trying to communicate with them. Others claim to feel her spirit walking beside them as they leave the church, the unsettling sensation of being followed lingering long after they have gone. 7 St. Cuthberts Church, Durham. St. Cuthberts Church, known for its beauty, is also home to the ghost of a monk who met a violent end. His spirit has been spotted wandering the church, his footsteps echoing through the otherwise quiet space. Some visitors report hearing chanting or the rustling of unseen robes as they pass through the nave. The crypt is particularly active, and many claim to hear strange sounds emanating from the deep recesses of the church. Those brave enough to venture into the crypt often experience an overwhelming feeling of being watched, as if the monk's spirit is still guarding the church. 8. St. Martin's Church, Canterbury. One of the oldest churches in England, St. Martin's Church is haunted by the ghost of a monk who haunts the back of the church. The atmosphere here is thick with an unsettling energy, and visitors often feel as though they are being followed by an unseen presence. The crypt is said to be the epicenter of strange activity, where a sudden drop in temperature often occurs and whispers can be heard even when no one else is nearby. Some believe the monk is guarding something in the church, and many visitors report a feeling of unease when passing through the area where he is most often seen. 9 St. Nicholas's Church, Nottingham. St. Nicholas's Church is haunted by the spirit of a woman who was murdered in the churchyard. Her ghost has been seen walking among the gravestones, her figure draped in a white gown. The air grows unnervingly cold around her, and some visitors report hearing faint, mournful cries that seem to come from the direction of the churchyard. Her spirit is said to be searching for something, or someone, and some claim they hear her whispering the name of her murderer on the wind. The atmosphere in the graveyard is always heavy, and many visitors leave with the feeling that the woman's spirit is still watching them. 10 St. Mary's Church, Kempley. St. Mary's Church is known for its ancient frescoes and its eerie atmosphere. Visitors often report seeing strange glowing orbs of light near the altar, and there have been numerous accounts of the organ playing by itself, even though it is no longer functional. One local reported seeing a shadowy figure standing in the doorway of the church, only for it to disappear before they could approach. There is an unsettling feeling that pervades the church, and many visitors leave with the distinct sensation that something or someone is still present in the space. 11 St. Peter's Church, Barton upon Humber, Lincolnshire. This church is haunted by the ghost of a priest who died mysteriously. His apparition has been seen wandering the aisles late at night, and witnesses often hear the sound of footsteps following them, only to turn and find no one there. The bell tower is another source of strange phenomena. People have reported seeing shadowy figures moving near the tower at night and hearing the bells tolling when no one is present. The feeling of being watched is especially strong in the evenings, and many visitors claim to feel a sense of dread as they leave the church. 12 St. Leonards Church, Hythe, Kent. St. Leonards Church is home to thousands of human skulls stored in its crypt, and the haunting activity here is particularly intense. Many visitors report hearing disembodied footsteps or whispers in the crypt, despite there being no one else around. Some describe the sensation of being watched or followed by an unseen presence, and others claim to have seen shadowy figures moving among the tombs. The graveyard itself is another hotspot, with reports of strange lights and eerie sounds in the mist, leaving visitors with a deep sense of unease. 13. My Quiet Life in Suffolk, the Cathedral of the Marshes. This quiet, isolated church in Suffolk is surrounded by mist and the haunting silence of the marshes. Visitors often report seeing glowing orbs near the altar, and some hear faint voices or whispers carried by the wind. A strange energy seems to fill the air, particularly at dawn, when the mist is thickest. Some claim to have seen ghostly figures standing at the church's entrance, staring silently as if waiting for someone, or something. The feeling of solitude here is overwhelming, making the paranormal occurrences feel all the more intense. 14. St. Margaret's Church, Long Bennington, Lincolnshire. St. Margaret's Church is haunted by the spirit of a woman, believed to have died suddenly inside the church. Her ghost is often seen near the altar, and many people report hearing footsteps behind them when walking through the aisles. Some claim to feel a sudden chill in the air as her presence is felt, and there are occasional reports of soft whispers or voices, even though the church is empty. The haunting seems particularly strong at night, when the church is shrouded in darkness and the feeling of being watched lingers long after visitors leave. 15. St. Catherine's Church, Chipping Campden. The ghost of a Victorian woman who passed away unexpectedly inside the church haunts St. Catherine's Church. Her apparition is often seen near the altar, walking silently down the aisles. Many people who visit the church report hearing faint whispers, and some claim to have seen her figure standing at the back of the church, staring out the windows. The air is heavy with an eerie energy, and the feeling of her presence can be so intense that it's hard to shake even after leaving. Which haunted church gave you chills? Share your thoughts below and dare to visit these sites.